Nestled just off the British mainland in the Irish Sea lies the Isle of Man. This beautiful and rugged landscape is home to what many say is the jewel in the British rallying crown, the legendary Manx Rally. In March of 2017, the Hero Cup kicks off the season with the fourth running of the Three Legs of Man. The competition would prove to be as fierce as ever. Shoehorned into the island's 221 square miles are over 600 miles of roads, perfect for a springtime invasion of rally machinery. After all the crews have arrived, they head straight for the mandatory formalities of scrutineering. As usual, an eclectic array of machinery was entered, split into 9 different classes, the year of manufacture and engine sizes differentiating each class. Scrutineering involves a mini MOT to check roadworthiness before committing to the many challenges ahead. HQ and the start would be in the island's capital of Douglas. Leg 1's route would take us west across the island to Peel, then south following the coast to Port Erin. From there, the competitors wind their way to the north of the island for a series of tests at Derby, home to the Isle of Man Motor Museum, a site that boasts a collection of over 250 unique vehicles from around the world, many of them classics. We then head back south through the centre of the island to Craignabar for the end of Leg 1. The 2016 Hero Cup winner Paul Crosby returns to defend his crown. Would he be looking forward to the challenge?
Yeah, I am actually. I've never rallied here on the Isle of Man before, so it's going to be a whole new experience. I've got Mr. Ali Proctor with me, so he's been here before, so hopefully that'll help a bit, but yeah, really looking forward to it. I think there's probably 4, 5, 6 crews that could win this event.
As the early spring evening gives way to twilight, the last of the crews make it through scrutineering. Bronwyn Burrell, a famous name from the world of 1960s national rallying, returned to competition.
My first rally for half a century, possibly. No, not as long as that, but quite a long time. Well, I started rallying in 1967. I bought an ex-works Hillman in, one that had been driven by Rosemary Smith, EDU 710C, and started off doing some little local rallies, became Solent County's champion quite quickly for some reason. So we're here to do the Three Legs of Man. I'm doing it with Elise and Sarah White, who are experienced at this sort of thing, so the young girls can show this old girl how to do it.
Okay, we need SOS. Your engine will be old, maybe.
Yes, just in case someone else needs it as well.
Crews enter rallies for various reasons, some not always serious.
This is our first event. It was a very drunk Christmas dinner. We couldn't enter the Milli Miglia, so we went for the Three Legs of Man instead. Well, we're expecting good fun, really. Good fun. Something how to use the cars. So it could be the new thing every year to pick one of these events up.
Every vehicle entered into the rally must have been manufactured before 1986. The driver-navigator teams would spend their first evening on the Isle of Man at Rally HQ in Douglas. The rally route would cover a total distance of 329 miles and, along the way, include 22 tests, 16 regularities and 4 time control sections, and is classed as an advanced rally. As the prep day draws to an end, old friends recount tales of the one that got away on previous endeavours and look forward to the challenges ahead. The first day of competition dawns, and there are already ominous grey clouds low in the morning sky, threatening even trickier weather conditions ahead. The three legs of Mann would really test the competitors' endurance with both day and night driving, mixed surfaces, and of course, the unpredictable March weather. The three legs of Mann also sees the return of some regular faces. Stephen Owen, 2016 runner-up, appears more eager to take the fight back to Crosby again.
We're really looking forward to starting the three legs of Mann today. We're 3 up in this Austin Maxi with Bromburrell.
The weather is on our side, as you can see.
This is apparently typical Isle of Man weather.
As their drivers wait ready for the off, the navigators wait impatiently for the release of their final route instructions, a process that's repeated before each of the three legs. And as the rain begins to fall at the start of leg 1, the crews will have their work cut out for them in the Isle of Man.
First away, yep.
What do you think the challenges are going to be?
The weather and being first on the road.
Yeah, it's our first time on the island. We've not done this one before, so should be good fun, I hope. Looks like it's going to be a hectic couple of days.
Well, I've done the Isle of Man on 2 wheels on 5 occasions now, the Isle of Man 2-day international trial. But I've never actually competed on the Isle of Man on 4 wheels, and it's something that I've always wanted to do.
Always a bit nervous at the start and apprehensive, but it should be a good event. It's a few years since we've been here, so good to come back. Weather as promised.
It's raining now, and I understand it's going to get worse through the day. I understand the ferries have stopped running as well, so been runner-up to Paul 3 times now in the Hero Trophy, come second 3 times in the Hero Trophy. The first time and the second time very nearly won it, but yes, this year I'll certainly try my best, as I do every year, and I'm really looking forward to the challenge.
At this level you expect it to be tough, and with Mullins and Woodcock in charge, it's always going to be in there. There's no revolution here, no revolution.
Just follow the yellow bit road to the first test.
As the 56 starters left the TT pit lane on the Glen Crutchery Road, the first real action of the day began within moments of being flagged away, as the competitors were thrust straight into the first of 2 tests, which took place behind the grandstand. Jane Wignall was already in confident mood, throwing the Alpha around the course. Stephen Johnson and Richard Dix in the Escort RS2000 were laying a smokescreen to foil the pursuing pack. In his pursuit of the 2017 driver's title, Stephen Owen put in a time of 1 minute 24 seconds, giving him a 12th fastest overall and 2nd fastest in class. Bronwyn Burrell was making a steady start after such a long time out of the hot seat. Recent aerodynamic changes in Formula One have also filtered down to rallying, with Roy Perkins and Peter Ward in the Porsche 944 employing their rear wing. The crews then left the confines of the tight car park test for the open road and headed west into the countryside to negotiate their first regularity. We travelled northwest towards West Baldwin and Injibray before arriving on the west coast. The weather, as promised, had closed in. The time control at Narwhal Bay Cafe afforded crews the time for a quick break.
I wanted to test myself in a new rally, a more competitive one. I did one before, I did the Icelandic Saga, which was just a regularity. So I was curious, always heard about the Isle of Man. I was curious to try it out. And we hope to get better and better as the days go on. I'm on a Porsche 911. It's a friend's car and I need to take great care of it.
Refreshed, the crews were more than ready for the next spectacular test, which was to take place in front of the fishermen's cottages. John Abel and Mark Appleton were putting in a spirited drive using every inch of the road and more. The Mini Cooper S of Jeff Hall and Martin Taylor were unlucky to catch the biting edge of a pothole, causing them a puncture.
What's the name of the place? Narwhal, I think. We're not local, I'm sorry.
There was no respite for the crews as it was straight into regularity 2, with some more eager to get away than others. However, the Gulf of Roger and Thomas Bricknell were having early issues.
Suddenly lost power halfway up the hills.
The gateway.
Yeah, I mean, it was crank over. It sounded like I tried to fire a couple of times.
Regularity 2 takes us further south to Port Erin, where there would be a further thrash along the scenic Manx coast.
Going good so far. Last test to start the morning gets us going, and then a couple of nice regularities, quite tight, difficult timing, lots of speed changes, but pretty good. And now some enjoyable tests before lunch. We always want lunch.
You both ready? Okay then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Morgan and Crozier in their Volvo would put in a time of 1 minute and 14 seconds, giving them a third in class on the test. Meanwhile, Jane Wignall was the 14th overall quickest, clocking up 1 minute and 7 seconds. The mixed surfaces of tarmac and gravel proved to be an extra challenge on the seaside test. Lunch was at the Elegant Abbey restaurant in Ballasalla. Its food would need to be negotiated both in and out. Heading the timesheet was Dermot Carnegie and Paul Bosdet from Warren and Bloxham, with Crosby and Proctor third, each crew separated by a margin of 2 seconds.
Well, it's going very well. There's a couple of times we thought we dropped a second that we didn't really want to, but everybody's on that. The car's running well, and we're really enjoying the event. It's a pleasure to be on the Isle of Man, the home of such motorsport heritage.
It's great fun. I'd forgotten how much fun. But yeah, it's good fun. It was quite good. Interesting tests. It's not exactly a sideways car, but we got a sideways once or twice.
The tests are just awesome. It's very good, very good. The car's doing really well. We're really pleased with it. It's really, really good fun, this is. So yeah.
Will you come again?
Oh, can't wait, can't wait. As soon as we get back, we're going to be looking for the next one, I think.
It's a 1980 XJS. I worked at Jaguar at the time and helped develop it. In 1980, Jaguar Cars was nearly on its knees, and only 360 XJSs made that particular model year. Very few survivors of that era. The last test we had, which was relatively straightforward and up and down, went very well, so we could really keep the hammer down. It was a pleasure to be able to use it on this sort of event.
Went through the Ford and just got a little bit of water up under the bonnet, so she just took a second to dry off. But there he is, she's purring again. Good to go, ready for some lunch now, I think.
Engine belt and it just cut out. Bloody hell. The engine just cut out at the end of the Harbourside test, and then it wouldn't restart, cranking over and over. Anyway, got a couple of guys to give me a good push, and I think all's well now, I hope, but you never know, do you?
The halt gives everyone the essential time to refuel and swat up on the maps.
It's been tough actually, because I've never done speed tables before. I mean, it's been a learning curve for both of us, but we're having fun and we're learning as we go. It's tough, but it's exciting. Yeah, the car's been brought around. Yeah, park is there. See you later. 16.
I bought the car 14 years ago, fully restored by a Mini specialist. So the car came with heritage certificate and looked beautiful. And my wife was absolutely furious when I put a cage and the harnesses in it. But that's rallying, isn't it?
I think tonight is going to be a big decider. It's very, very close in the top sort of dozen within seconds. Yeah, it's a typical Isle of Man, it's good. Not as bad as we thought, whether we're going to get the heavy rain tonight, but very slippy.
The roads are certainly very different on the mainland. A roads look like a low-class B road over in England. So it's different. It's just getting a feel for what the roads look like and the different signage, and hoping you go the right way, of course.
No dramas at the moment. Let's hope it continues that way.
With lunch over, it was back on the road. Heading up the west coast, the afternoon challenges would kick off with 2 regularities and a test. The navigators would earn their tea, with jogularity style instructions being a test for even the most experienced. White 911s seem to be following each other around.
15. All right, steady away. Steady away. 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Powleys, despite having to dodge around local traffic, were well up the timesheets as the crews headed north. The first of the event's 5 visits to the Motorsport Centre airfield site at Derby would introduce the crews to a challenging set of tests which were to be repeated several times throughout the 2 days. But first, a welcome coffee stop and a look around the Motor Museum.
such a small place, this place has got such wide variation in like topography. You'll get like fast moorland roads or B roads and A roads, and then you'll be off into really nadgery stuff. So for such a small area, it's amazing how much you can cram into this place.
Nice regularities, good roads. Could do with the weather being a bit more cheerful, but other than that, it's all good.
It's a bit like back home in County Fermanagh, so it is. Yeah, wet and windy.
Slippier than I thought on those tests. Very enjoyable. A good laugh with Andrew. First time I've been with him since 2013. Then I was teaching him, now he's teaching me. So we're getting on okay. I'll have to improve my jogality a bit. I wasn't very good on that. But, great event, I'm loving it.
We've had a fair run this afternoon, but this morning we actually rolled a tyre off on a test. So, but because we were straight into a regularity, we had to stop, change the wheel, and then straight into the regularity. And it's made most of it back up. We dropped 25 in the end of the first time point, so that wasn't too bad.
Let's say there's room for improvement. We made a rusty. I haven't been out for about 16 months and I made a really novice mistake this morning and it cost me a minute, so that hasn't been good.
We wrong slotted and got a minute on a regularity. Otherwise, we're happy. Got them all.
And it was to me, just right at the very tip. Right.
As is the nature of a go-kart track, the test would be a tight and twisty affair, and with such smooth and damp tarmac, Dermot Carnegie could have some fun. The airfield tests would present their own challenges with navigating, the cones being quite tricky for some. The escort of Tim Newitt and Luce Jordan threaded its way through the old buildings before venturing onto the runway section. There would be 3 tests at the Derby Motorsport Centre before the crews head into the countryside for a quick regularity before returning to do it all again. As we leave Derby and travel south on the 7th regularity of the day, we climb into the mountains and into worsening weather conditions. The moors steadily became shrouded in mist, although to some hardy souls this was considered real rallying weather. The route takes us around Baldrin and Corhenny Plantation, which caused the leading crews all sorts of problems. Carnegie and Bosden, as well as Warren and Pickering, amongst others, tripped up as the route took them off tarmac roads and into forests. Pushing on past Snaith Fell, the highest point of the island at 2,037 feet, we head for the end of leg 1. At this stage, the overall leaderboard would have the pairing of Crosby and Proctor in their 911 on top spot, with Warren and Bloxham's 911 in second, ahead of the escort of Abel and Appleton. How it would all play out in leg 2 was anyone's guess. The famous hotel, the Craigna Bar, or Cow on a Rock to you and me, would mark the finish of leg 1 and become a most welcome rest hold. The crews would have time for a leisurely tea before setting off into the night for leg 2.
It was going okay until we missed one of the timing points, but other than that, it was okay. I might have touched 1 or 2 cows, but my door keeps flying open. Yeah, it was quite impressive actually. It was the way it actually just slows you down as you go around the corners. Yeah, it was a bit like that.
Like the 944 with its rear hatch that keeps flying open.
It's been very good. For the first time, we haven't sort of been too worried about time, more about where we're going, and that's been okay until the last part of the last regularity, and then we were not really very good at going where we were supposed to go. But it's certainly been lots of fun anyway.
The roads here are fantastic. Quite rough, a little bit rough on the car, but no problems. Really, really enjoyed the open airfields. Very fast, fantastic.
It's been a very hard day's night section coming up, Gary. And we won't need much more help with this, but it's wet enough out there for a submarine, probably a yellow one. Been working hard, possibly 8 days a week. We can work it out. Plenty of rain, but we can work it out.
I think it'll be all decided this evening. 4 different TC sections and 3 tricky regs in the dark. I think it's all to come, to be honest.
As usual, the route instructions for the leg are released to the navigators before venturing out into the night section.
Down and then long way around.
Leg 2's route would take us from Craigna Bar north along the west coast through Ramsey, then across the top of the island for the 3rd visit of the day to Derby. From there, we head south for the tricky forestry section before returning to base for the overnight halt. Fortified against whatever the Manx night would throw at them, the crews head off into the darkness. As night fell, the conditions worsened and the going became very wet. The combination of mixed road surfaces, rallying in the dark, and the route, including many of the classic Manx rally roads, would certainly live up to the advanced classification. The wintry weather would again test the team's navigational skills as they undertook the 3 regularities on the route north for the evening's visit to Derby.
But we've had a couple of unlucky incidents where we've had to wait for people to reverse and turn around in front of us. So we met a huge lorry on one section. But other than that, not too badly.
Obviously it's trickier in the dark. The conditions out there are a bit miserable with the rain and everything. A couple of wrong slots and things, but we went the right way. All in all, didn't miss any controls.
It was really good fun trying to find him, so we've had a giggle along the way. But I think the best is yet to come. It's going to be really tricky from here on in. We've got 4 TC sections, and in the dark, in the wet, in the rain, in the wind, it's going to be tricky.
God knows where the results will be by 11:30. Anybody's guess.
Refreshed, the crews left Derby, but not before a time control section around the airfield buildings. Previous champion Crosby was top dog at the beginning of the night, but would it last? Finding the going more to their liking were John Abel and Mark Appleton and Jeff Hall and Martin Taylor, who were making up for the morning's puncture. Navigators had to be on their toes in order to negotiate their way around the maze of airfield buildings that had now taken on a completely different character in the dark. The continuing downpour in the forest was for some characteristic of authentic Manx off-road action, but it was also proving quite the challenge. The rest of the evening would prove to be the sting in the tail of the event, with the leaderboard being turned upside down. Roger Bricknell, who had mystery engine issues earlier in the day, was still smiling. Leading contenders including Howard Warren and Nick Bloxham, the Powleys, and Owens and Mitchell dropping large amounts of time, all 3 crews in 911s. Returning to Douglas and HQ, it would be interesting to discover how the crews had done in the crucial Leg 2 night section.
It went well until the 3rd section, and then I spent 10 minutes in a ditch, and then we ran out of fuel.
We had a lorry that cost us about 19. We had the Vaux engine blew up in Conrennie Plantation, which cost us about 55. And I had a 30-second run slot my own. But other than that, a couple of niggly little things in the TC section. It's been right.
We've had a good day. Got worse, got very good in the dark. We struggled on the airfield a little bit trying to find different places, but we got everything. We've picked everything up. We haven't missed anything, which is a big thing. So we're 12th at the moment, but we'll have to see what happens when all the rest of the times come in.
My day was awful, but I still enjoy it. We missed so many controls and timing points, but it was a fantastic day anyway.
We missed a code board early on this evening, so that picked us up a 2.5 minute penalty, I think. So yeah, we've dropped out of contention now anyway.
You never know what everybody else has done, do you? So
But we had a really good evening, picked up 8 minutes, and I think that was pretty good. So we'll see where we are tomorrow.
Leg 2 had certainly mixed up the order, with John Abel and Mark Appleton now in top spot on the overall leaderboard. Jumping up to second place was the Mini of Jeff Hall and Martin Taylor, with the Volvo of David Morgan and Richard Crozier in third. But would the order remain the same on the final day? Day 2 and leg 3 promised to be a better day weather-wise. However, on an island, anything is possible. The cruise followed the same format as the day before, with route instructions being released to the navigators minutes before their start times. Powley Sr. was having some tense moments getting the 911 started.
What seems to be the issue then?
Ignition. Something wrong with the distributor. It was stopping on us completely last night, but I think Dave's on it, so we're just adjusting the points to try and get some better sparks.
Well, we were doing quite well yesterday. We climbed up to about 6th overall, and then on the first regularity of the night, the alternator gave up, and had to stop and repair that, and then had no charge. So about half the night section we had to do with the lights getting dimmer and dimmer.
Parts last night were rough, but very good. Good roads and very tested, very busy rally.
Seriously, it was so quick last night. Navigation was tough, the roads were tough. Fortunately, we had a lot of people in front of us who knew the way, so we were able to follow those, which was good. Otherwise, I think we'd still be out there, frankly.
We found all the controls and process controls except the secret check. And I suspect you would, I don't know how we didn't find him, because we found the process control before and after.
Was that the one in the lay-by?
Don't ask me, I don't know.
Also suffering mechanicals were the father and son Hillman Imp of Nick and Andy Pullin.
Looks as if the wheel hub's come off the mountain. So, there's not a lot we can do about that, I don't think.
But life in the old dog yet.
Leg 3 would take us from the island's capital, first south along the coast, then north through the centre of the island once again to Derby, then winding our way to Star Fell, and following the TT course, we head onto the final stretch to the finish. The first action of Leg 3 was to be a test along the famous Marine Drive, just south of the capital. The road would be closed for this thrash along the spectacular cliffs. Test 1 of the day in the bag, and it was straight into the first of the morning's 2 regularities. Mixing in with normal traffic makes keeping to the right pace even trickier. As we head north and climb into the hills, the weather worsens again. Neil Wilson and Matthew Vokes picked the most unsuitable place for a puncture.
In the hole up there, we went too tight in and
Navigating in these parts would seem to be down to counting the potholes. Johnson and Jolly in the Corona were caught following the countryside code and had to really practice their shepherding skills. With the great Joey Dunlop looking on, we press on north following the TT route. By leg 3, the competitors had crisscrossed the island so many times that the scenery was becoming strangely familiar. The crew's fourth visit to Derby would be another welcome pit stop.
Well, I guess what we're trying to do is have an event for these lovely old cars, but a competitive event, and we've done that by having lots of tests, manoeuvrability stroke time tests, and then we have obviously the regularity sections which test the navigators. But I guess the special part about this event in Hero's portfolio, if you like, is the fact that we had a night section last night, which was very, very demanding on the crews, and you know, they sort of went out, got back at about midnight, very tired, but I think they enjoyed it. They seem to have enjoyed it more this morning than when they came in last night, but I think we got it right.
Oh gosh, it takes me back. It's absolutely amazing, I can't tell you. Such a buzz. Love it. And everybody's so nice, everybody's so helpful. Absolutely brilliant, like it used to be. Proper old-fashioned rallying.
The wheel did fall off this morning, but we fortunately found some friends in the Isle of Man who welded it back on, and the hub had come away from the follower. So the hub ended up collapsing this morning, which is a nice start to the day.
Now this morning, obviously we've refueled and put more oil in and all that, but unfortunately we seem to have lost our speedo cable.
The speedometer's not working, so the halder's not working, so it's off map now. We're trying to get it fixed. We have a spare.
We're just hoping to get to the finish now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Derby wouldn't be Derby without a handful of tests on the go-kart track and the airfield. Both venues should now be very familiar to the competitors. Alessandra Angelini and Germana Tognella in the 911 put in a spirited drive to post a time of 2 minutes and 39 seconds. The quickest time of 2 minutes and 16 seconds was posted by Hall and Taylor in the Mini. Leaving the test behind, there were another 3 regularities to undertake, which would eventually bring us to Ramsey again, before the 5th and final visit to Derby for lunch and another handful of tests. One final regularity returns us south as the crews head back to Douglas and the finish arch in the TT pit lane on Glencrutchery Road.
been a great weekend, an action-packed weekend. The tracks were brilliant, the tests were fast, they were rapid, they were exciting, but it's been really good, really exciting, very enjoyable. Look forward to the next one.
We had some good times, we had some bad times as well, but all in on balance, I think it was a very well run, well organised event, and we really enjoyed it.
We're just very happy to come to the Isle of Man and enjoy this fantastic rally and all the camaraderie that goes with it.
Thank you very much.
It's been a great event, very well organised as hero events are.
I loved it. It's the first time I did something like that, and I really loved it. So thank you, Isle of Man, and thank you for the organisation. Yeah.
As the three legs of Man comes to a close, the final positions on the overall leaderboard saw little change from the overnight standings. Abel and Appleton took the top spot, with Hall and Taylor second, just ahead of Morgan and Crozier in third. Taking into account the class systems, the Hero Cup for drivers saw a four-way tie, with Stanley, Abel, Jones and Crosby all sharing top billing, followed by David Morgan close behind in fifth. The Golden Roma for navigators saw Martin Taylor out in front of the chasing pack of Canavan, Jordan, Crozier and Bloxham by the narrowest of margins. But it's still early days in the fight for the title in both championships. A typically modest John Abel reflects on his efforts.
I've just got an ace navigator, he's just so well sorted. I just do the easy bit really.
The battle continues with next month's marathon, the London to Lisbon Rally. Join us for another epic adventure next time.